Hey everyone, good morning. Hey guys, is my voice audible to you all?
Good morning, Rohit.
Thank you,
Yes.
Sanjay. Okay, great. Let me know if my voice is not audible. Give me one quick minute. There are people still joining in. Okay, perfect. Okay, so my name is Rohit Singh. I'll be your trainer. Let me quickly share my screen and let me share the agenda. What exactly we're gonna do in this 90 days. It's a pretty long training session which we are talking about. So let's quickly set the agenda and let's quickly set the tone. What all things we'll be doing in this next 3 months of time. Okay. Hopefully my voice and the network, there's no voice distortion. My voice is audible to you guys. There's no issue. You guys can see my screen as well, correct? It's okay. You can put in.
Screen we can't, Rohit. Voice is very clear. It's very audible. But
Okay.
screen
No screen as of now.
Okay. Definitely.
yet to share, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sharing it. Thank you. Okay, you can put in the chat. That's totally fine. You can unmute yourself. That is totally fine. Whichever way you guys like it. No need of video, guys. So audio is more than enough. So you can put yourself out of video. That's totally fine. Okay. Now you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So this is I had multiple Azure DevOps course. This is the advanced course wherein I have added security topics as well, considering the market requirement now. So you should not just DevOps, you should have security knowledge as well. DevSecOps. That is the next target. But I'm not jumping directly in this course. I'm not jumping directly on explaining security topic, because if I do that, that will be for an experienced DevOps engineer having at least 5 to 6 years of experience. So we'll start from very scratch. We'll start, if I say we'll start from Linux, starting running Linux ls command, and then eventually we'll set up the entire flow, having setting up your security, including service mask, Helm chart, many advanced topics we'll be doing in this entire course. So I'll talk about the course later. Let's see what all things. Okay, before that, about me, what exactly who am I? That is what. So I have 12 plus years of experience in IT industries now, guys. So it's still going on. I've worked with multinational companies, startups. I have worked with JP Morgan, HP, Bark India is a startup company. Currently, I'm working as a DevOps lead in one of the MNC, that is CTS Tech. I have trained many peoples offline, online. I do have a YouTube channel, that's devopsmela. I have completed various certification. I cannot include all the certification in this PPT. To name few, I am a DevOps master. I've done my RCE, RSSA, ITIL. I am a AZ400 and many. Okay, so these are my credential. You can verify this credential on LinkedIn. If you go onto the website devopsmela.in, you can find my LinkedIn link from there and you can go to my LinkedIn page. Okay, that is all about me. Let's talk about the course. What exactly? These are the course highlights. Okay, the course duration is 60 plus days. When I say 60 days, I'm talking about hours. It's up to 65 hours because I've not included interview preparation. I've not included doubt solving in this. This is core, what topics we have in those numbers over here. I have not added additional numbers, any additional numbers added. So that's why I say 60 plus, it will go around 65. Okay. My course, if you guys follow my channel, if you have seen my videos, I don't prefer PPTs, guys. I very barely touch on PPTs. Wherever it is important, I go and open PPT, or it is completely practical. I'll be doing the practical. I want you guys to go and practice the same. And once I'm done with the course, once I'm done with one of the topic in a week time, I'll be sharing you assignments. Make sure to complete that assignment. If there's a doubt, we can have a doubt discussion on the call itself, and we can see where exactly you guys are stuck. Make sure to complete assignment. The reason I'm saying, because you need to have practical knowledge. If you want to crack interview, if you have a target in mind that after this course I want to crack some interviews, so you have to practice what we teach over here. If you practice, I can assure you that out of 5, 2 interviews definitely, 2 or 1 interview definitely you'll crack. If you are completely new, you don't know anything, and training with practice, if you give your 101%, you can definitely crack an interview. If you're already an experienced person, you're already working in some other domain in IT, so it will be not a difficult task. Or if you are a DevOps engineer, working as a DevOps engineer, then it's a well to do it. You will have all the advanced knowledge, whatever you needed, and you can start your career. As I said, weekly assignments and solution feedback. All the weekly assignments will be given to you guys. So weekly assignment will be completely based on what I teach, what we practice. So that is something the weekly assignment will be. The pointers will be given. You just have to go and follow the pointers. In the end, we'll have mock interviews. This is something I don't do for end, guys. Mock interview it's a daily process. Like whenever I teach something, like suppose if I'm taking a Git topic, I'll quickly frame a practical solution, practical questions, like what you will be asked interview question. Like if I want to ask about cherry picking, I'll say I have 2 branches, develop branch and main branch. I want to push specific changes to my main branch, only specific commit to my main branch. How will I do it? So you guys will get confused. Some will say we'll create a pull request, some will say we'll do a PR and things like that. No, that's not the right answer. We need to have a cherry picking concept, wherein we'll cherry pick that particular commit to the main branch. Okay, so I don't keep this mock interview calls for at very end. I keep on giving you questions in between itself, and eventually I'll be asking all those questions at the end. So if you follow the videos, I know the timing could be concern for many of you guys. So each and every call sessions will be recorded. This session will be kept in a drive. The drive access will be given to you guys. See, this is the drive. So this is all my previous drive. This is the drive. It will be segregated with folders, and all your content will be directly inside this folder. If I am sharing a PPT, see this. If I am sharing any command, everything will be there inside this. And this drive access will be given to you. This drive will be available for more than a year. So this videos will not be deleted, guys. I have not deleted any of my videos till now. So I have taken more than 10 batches, 10-15 batches, personal and for other companies also. But none of the videos are deleted. It's there. You can access it whenever you want. Resume preparation. I'll have a resume template. I have multiple templates, guys, based on what I teach. Keeping that in mind, all those things are written in the template. The only thing you have to do, go edit the template, replace my name with your name, and you can start using that template. I can have one-to-one interaction. If anyone has any issues, please reach out to me. Please send an email. My email ID is there with you guys. My WhatsApp number I'll be sharing with you guys. Keep it with you. Just ping me. It may be that I may be busy or doing something. Just ping me whenever I'll ping you back and we'll connect. Okay, but don't worry, it will not be delayed like for 5 days, 6 days. Within an hour or so, I'll be replying you guys back. Okay, so these are the course highlights. Now, before I talk about the course, let's talk about a DevOps journey for all. Before I jump on and talk about DevOps journey, how things will change in this course, what all things we are covering, does anyone has any questions? Then I can take those questions now and then we can move on. Anyone? Any questions, guys? Not related to the course. I have not even talked about anything about the course. Anything other than course, if you want to ask. No doubt? Okay. No problem. That's okay. this is what DevOps is, guys. If you have seen my video, this is what I have put in on my video also, this PPT. Now let me be very frank, being a DevOps engineer is not a cakewalk. Okay, because being a like for developer, suppose I'm a Java developer, I have to focus on Java. For system admin, we have to focus on system related stuff, infrastructure stuff. Cloud admin, the cloud, he has to focus on Azure cloud related stuff. Tester, if you're using any specific tool or something, you have to focus on that tool. But DevOps engineer has to focus on overall everything. He is the person responsible for doing production deployment, making sure the production deployment is smooth. He is the person who will be always be busy doing firefighting. I'm not scaring you guys. That is the reason DevOps engineer role is one of the highly paid role right now in the market, even more than a developer. If you are a highly skilled DevOps engineer, you will get paid more than a developer. You can demand. That is the market right now. So if you are a highly skilled DevOps engineer, but yeah, it always comes with a background. You have to be thorough with many things. When I say many things, you have to have knowledge of operating system, mainly Linux. Why many people say no, why do we need Linux? If you know all the DevOps tool, maximum DevOps tool, they are Linux native tools. So you will do installation, you will be going checking the logs, you will be deploying things on Linux, and many things you'll be doing on Linux. Okay, so you have to have Linux knowledge. Now people will say it also works on Windows. Now if you know Docker was launched in 2013, and when did it come in Docker for Windows? It came in around 2016 and 17. So yeah, eventually it will come because Windows is also there in the market. But your focus area should be Ansible. Ansible will never get installed on a Windows. It's only a Linux native application software. So yeah, so even Docker will not work on Windows, guys. There is a way out. You have to install your Linux base OS, then on top of it you will be installing your Docker. Even on Windows, I have on my laptop I have Docker running on Windows. Okay, so there is always behind the scene Linux will come here and there. Okay, so that is the reason Linux is the must. I'm not telling that you have to be a Linux administrator. No, you should have basic knowledge how the package works, how the users are created, how the permissions are working. That's basic knowledge. How do you check logs? How do you go and check what are the CPU, memory, and those basic knowledge. You don't have to be a Linux administrator. You don't have to go and know the boot process, installation and all. No, this is not required. You cannot deep dive into Linux. If you want to deep dive, definitely go and do RSCE. Okay, and be a Linux administrator for that. Now, what's your role? You are a DevOps administrator. You have to focus on getting required knowledge. Okay. Second, cloud services. Many say, why do we need cloud knowledge? Yeah, DevOps and cloud goes hand in hand. You have to have knowledge how the VMs gets created, how the things gets deployed. Because if you're setting up pipeline, mostly you'll be deploying your stuff on cloud. You'll be making use of Azure services. So over here I'll talk about Azure because we focus on Azure. But yeah, same goes with AWS. You will be deploying things on EC2. You'll be deploying things on EKS. You will be deploying things on AKS. Azure Kubernetes services. You'll be creating an image. You'll be pushing that image into ACR, Azure Container Registry. So yeah, it goes hand in hand. So you have to have cloud service knowledge. Now, you don't have to be a cloud infra manager, administrator, cloud administrator for this. Setting up policies and all. No, that's not your role. You need to have knowledge related to your topic. You don't have to set. Now, if you're working for a startup, let me tell you, so a small company wherein they want you to do everything. At that time, you may require all this. But from the role perspective, whatever is required, everything is covered in this topic. Very important, repository management. I get many questions. I have taken more than 500 interviews, guys, frankly speaking. By taking those interviews, I got to I had an idea that many people don't know basic things. So that's why I started preparing interview questions, and it's there on my channel. All scenario based interview questions. It's not difficult, not rocket science. It's very simple question. The only thing I did, I just molded that questions into a scenario based. That's it. Because what happens with this cherry picking example which I gave you, this is a very simple. If you know what is cherry picking, you can easily answer that. Okay, but many people tend to get confused even they know it. So repository management is very okay. You will be using day in day out repository. You will be using Git a lot. Now many people say, why? That's the role of a developer. No, you will be creating your pipelines. You will be writing YAML scripts. You will having your infrastructure as a code. You will be writing Terraform configuration. You will be writing your ARM templates. Where will you put it? That's in Git, correct? You should know your branching and merging strategy also. You need to know what branches, how many branches you'll be creating, what will be your strategy, what will be your PR strategy. All this is a planning phase a DevOps engineer needs to answer. Correct? So you have to have knowledge of repository management. Next, ISC and PAC. ISC is infra as a code, PAC is a pipeline as a code. You need nowadays gone those days that you will be going on to the portal, clicking on the button and creating some infra. Everything should be part of your repository. Your infra creation scripts, your pipeline creation scripts, everything should be part of your repository. It has a benefit. Once created, it can be used multiple times. You can share it with other developers, and with no time you can go and make changes, and you can create, by creating one single ARM template, you can launch 100 of VMs. So yeah, that is what we follow as a DevOps. This is the role of a DevOps engineer. Most important role, continuous integration, continuous deployment. We'll be spending 50% of our time of this whole course just understanding this. This is the most important role. Creating pipeline, integrating security, creating sonar queue, analyzing code, creating Jacob, doing code coverage, many things. Deploying changes to VM, deploying changes to Azure services, deploying changes to Kubernetes clusters. So this is the place where we are spending much of the time. I got 3 live projects. ASP.NET web application, that's a microservice application which we will be creating. That application will be deployed on Azure Web App first. Secondly, it will be deployed on Docker container. Thirdly, it will be pushed into ACR, that's Azure Container Registry. Fourth, it will be deployed into AKS, that's Azure Kubernetes Services. So this same application will be deploying multiple places, just to give you all a glimpse how exactly this completely microservice world works. Okay. Now, so as I said, most of the time we'll be spending on continuous integration and deployment. Orchestration is very important. Kubernetes. So we'll focus on bare metal Kubernetes first. We'll be setting up complete Kubernetes from scratch, even though that is the role of a Kubernetes administrator. But to understand Kubernetes architecture, you need to understand this, guys. So we'll do that. We'll set up Kubernetes. We'll see the basic commands of Kubernetes. We'll deploy an application on Kubernetes. Then we'll deploy a custom application on AKS. The custom application, the .NET application which we talked about. Now the second project is Java Maven. This is very much required nowadays. Maven, you need to know what is Maven, how the Java application gets built. And once you know how the core Java gets built, easily you can build React, Angular. So don't worry guys, there are so many languages. So we cannot cover all the languages. But if you know how things build, you can easily find out how others gets built. Nothing different. Now over here you are using Java Maven. For Angular you may use NPM. For .NET we will make use of MS Build or VS Build. Then the next project which we have, it is SQL database automation. I know many of wherever you go, they don't cover SQL automation. Now many companies don't even focus on database automation. I don't know why. Database automation is a niche requirement right now. Many of the company, they don't even look at database for automating the database. We'll see how a database gets automated. We'll see how a changes gets deployed through a pipeline. We'll see how a store procedure will be created through a pipeline, how a table will be created, how a data will be inserted. All this we'll see. We'll set up our own SQL server. We'll create our own database. I'll be showing you how a DAC pack gets created. DAC pack is nothing but it's a data tier packaging mechanism for database. So this is a very niche topic which we'll cover. Make sure when you're giving an interview, focus on this topic more. Give them an impression that you know more, you know out of the box, not just front end automation, I know back end automation also. That is the whole purpose of adding this SQL database automation. Then we have containerization. Yes, definitely we'll do Docker. We'll see the basic of Docker, how an image gets created, what is a Docker file, how we can deploy an application on Docker directly manually, then how that can be automated using pipeline and all. That is what we'll see. Last but not the least, we'll have configuration management, Ansible. Okay, Ansible, will understand basic of Ansible. We'll see how a playbook is written and everything. Now this is all is required. It's not optional. For being a DevOps engineer, guys, this is not at all optional topic. These are required. When you go for an interview, you'll be asked question based on this. Now many of you say no, they look for Jenkins. Now many of say no, they don't follow Ansible, they want Chef. See, there are 1000 plus tools in the market. Now if you know Azure DevOps, you know how a Java Maven project gets built. Do you think Jenkins will have a different steps? No. Jenkins will have the same set of steps. You'll be using Maven over there. You'll be creating a jar file over there. You'll be pushing that jar file to the artifact. From the artifact, the things will be deployed to your end server. This is the same step you'll be follow even in Jenkins. The only difference is the GUI. Azure DevOps will have a different set of GUI. Over Jenkins will have a different set of GUI. In Jenkins you will write Groovy. The Groovy is not a difficult script. It's everything is available, just have to follow. And over here you'll write YAML. So if you know one thing well, you can easily relate. So that relation you have to do in interview, guys. Okay, you don't have to, oh, no, I don't know Jenkins. No, never. That's not the question. That is out of box. No, I know how Java Maven gets built. I can do the same thing with Azure DevOps. Now many company will follow, will have Octopus. Do you think you will start running and start learning Octopus? No. Why you want to leave your core thing and run behind some other tool? That will change eventually. After 2 years, the Octopus will be gone. Jenkins will be gone. Azure DevOps will be gone. Your core knowledge should be there. That should be your focus. If someone is using Chef, if you know Ansible, easily you can relate with Chef also. If you know Kubernetes, you can go with OpenShift. OpenShift is written completely on Kubernetes. On top of Kubernetes, they have created a GUI. If you know Kubernetes, OpenShift is not a big deal for you. If you know Azure, AWS is not a big deal for you. The only difference, the naming convention. Rest everything is same. The GUI is different. You know VM is getting created. You know virtual network. The same thing goes over there. You have to create a VPN. How this NAT gateway works. So the concept is same. Naming conventions are different. The graphical user interface is different. So when you learn, practice, with practice, you know, okay, this is how we need to handle questions in interview. Okay. Now this is about your DevOps. But without security, DevOps nowadays is nothing. So you need to have basic knowledge of securities. Each phases will have different sort of security. That is something I'll talk about, what all security topics we are covering. Now how this journey will start. Lord, this, give me 1 minute. And guys, in the meanwhile, it's coming up. If you want to register for this course, just take down my number, details, and just fill in the form before I go and forget all this. Okay, this is my direct number, guys. This is my WhatsApp number. This is my email ID. This is a registration link. Just fill in this if you want to continue. Okay, so this journey is, as I said, we'll start with Linux. We'll start with Linux. Then there are topics in Azure Cloud which we'll focus on. Azure DevOps, as I said, maximum will focus on Azure DevOps, understanding every aspect. Azure artifacts, it's very limited things I've written in my PPT, but if you go and look in my PDF, in the course content, in details, everything is given. We'll be for creating service connection, agent pools, and many things we'll be doing. And we'll do one more important thing. Like, if many of you will say, I don't have any background knowledge of coding, that's totally fine, guys. I'll be doing things from very scratch. If you focus, I'm even covering YAML from scratch, because YAML is very important. So that is something we'll do from scratch, because there are multiple things you'll do with YAML. You'll be writing your pipelines, you'll be writing your Kubernetes deployment, service files, and everything will be written in YAML. Then we'll understand Kubernetes, Terraform, and ARM template. There are two infra as a code tool I'm referring over here. Frankly, Terraform was not part of my course earlier. I was just teaching ARM template. The reason was very straightforward, because my course was very specific to Azure. But due to you guys given feedback plus interview requirement, they tend to ask questions from Terraform. That is the reason Terraform has been added. Now we are doing infra creation with both the templates. And I'm showing integration with ARM also and in Terraform also. I have not removed Terraform. I have not removed ARM, guys, because ARM is also important. If you go for any MNC, wherein they are very specific to Azure Cloud Services, they will not go for Terraform. They will not go for third-party tool, because there are agreement issue, SLA issues. Terraform ARM is a Microsoft tool, so they will focus on ARM only. So that is the reason I kept it. Kubernetes, Ansible, Docker, Maven. Monitoring, will be doing in monitoring integration also. Prometheus, Grafana. Prometheus is for microservice monitoring, guys, and Grafana is only for GUI. It's for visualization. So this is the setup which I'll show you. And these are
Rohit,
the
I have
security
a
topics which
questions
has been
over
added.
the course
So
content.
such as
Do you cover
Talishman,
the networking,
SonarQube,
like how the IP
Jacoco,
mapping and
Helm charts, Istio,
all those
Service Mesh.
things?
These are very advanced topic, guys. So this is something we'll be integrating with a pipeline. I'll show you how exactly
Yeah,
Helm chart will
thank you.
be deployed. We'll see how this service
Yes,
mesh will get
subnet
integrated.
mask
How
and
will you create containers? Yeah. Anyone
thank
has
you.
any questions? Okay.
Rohit, I have a questions over the course content. Do you cover the networking, like how the all those things?
We'll come to that. I'll open the course content after this. I'll show you what all networking stuff we'll cover. So you're talking about domain mapping, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Subnet mask.
Yeah. I'm coming to that point. Okay. So these are the live project, guys. ASP.NET, Java Maven, SQL Database Automation. And mock interview, resume prep. So let's go back to the course content now. Okay. This is the course content. These are the things which will cover in this entire course, starting with Linux. So the flow will be different, guys. I'm not starting with Linux. I'll start with networking itself, because eventually I'll have to create a VM to teach you Linux. So that is the whole purpose. We'll start with networking itself. So in networking, we'll see what exactly is a network, virtual network. We'll see what is subnetting. We'll see how a public IP is created. We'll see multiple scenarios in networking, how to create a jump box, bastion host. So whatever is required As I said, we are not a cloud administrator. Whatever is required from the DevOps perspective, those part will be covered. Networking will be covered. Virtual machine will be covered. Active Directory is very important. The reason Active Directory is important because eventually I'll be connecting my Azure services with my Azure DevOps. So that is the reason Active Directory is important, and that is the reason we'll understand what is service principal, what is user, how the user is created, what is RBAC, and all this will be covered in details. So this is why I'm covering, because it's very much required. Because you'll be connecting to so many services, you should know how exactly it is connected, how the things are, what is service principal and all will cover. Okay, then we have Key Vault. Again, Key Vault is required because you'll be storing your images in Key Vault. You will be creating keys, you'll be creating private public keys, there are many things you'll be storing. When we set up pipelines, you need to authenticate your pipelines also. So you cannot pass in passwords directly into your pipelines. So how exactly that will be? Then we'll be integrating Key Vault with our pipelines. Then we'll have storage account knowledge, and there are multiple topics not mentioned over here, such as AKS, ACR, and container registry and all, because that is there in the bottom, but it's there. Okay, so this is from the cloud. And from the Linux, we'll know the basic Linux command. How do we manage user and group? File, how do we manage? Linux editor is very important. How do we edit a file in Linux? And package management. apt yum, we'll see how the package gets managed, because this is very important. And this Linux editor is very important. You need to, because there are so many files you'll get it which you need to go and edit directly into Linux. So you should know how to edit Linux. Plus, when we'll use Git, at that time you should have basic knowledge how to work with Linux. So this is what we'll do in Linux and cloud. Now this is what my DevOps will start. Starting with understanding the DevOps notion first. Now, if I ask you guys what is DevOps, many of you will say, I know 101% you will say development and operation team collaborating together. That is the statement which I will get it, which is right, which I'm not denying. And then later you'll start jumping on and talking about tools. Okay, so no, DevOps is not about tools. DevOps is about the process and people, guys. Keep that in mind. Tool is the third pillar which will support your journey. Okay, so when we talk DevOps, we talk about people and process. You have to define the process. You need to make sure people are collaborating together. That is DevOps. Okay, keep that in mind. Understanding DevOps methodology: Agile, Scrum, Waterfall, Kanban, Lean, etc. Agile, Scrum is very important nowadays. Even if you work with DevOps, Agile is the process which you follow, not just for work item management, but for your project management as well. Okay, even though many of you will not know what exactly Agile, but that is very important. You should know basic of Agile. You should know what is Scrum. I'm not telling you guys to be a Scrum Master. Keep that. You don't have to be a Scrum Master to understand this. You should have basic understanding of Agile and Scrum. Okay, that is something we'll see. I'm not jumping into what is Scrum, how to manage. No. That's not my work. I'm a DevOps engineer. I'm not a Scrum Master. Okay. So as I said, work item management, repository management. This is very important. Repository management, Git. So we'll see Git and Azure repos, two things. We'll see basic Git first. We'll see everything on my local system first. Then we'll jump onto Azure repos. I'll not directly jump onto Azure repos because you'll not understand anything if you don't have background of Git. And if I directly jump on Azure repos, start teaching you what is PR, what is stashing and all, you'll not understand. So we'll go through basic Git. I'll be spending a week time over here. So just imagine how deep we go, because these are important topics, guys, for a DevOps engineer perspective. So whichever the topic is important, I'll be diving into that topic. Which is not important, I'll just give you overview and practical understanding. Okay. Then we'll have Git security, pre-hook, post-hook. This is where we'll integrate Talisman. Talisman is a tool which will basically help you secure you don't push unnecessary things into your repositories, like your credentials, your security keys. You don't push such things into your Git repository. So we'll have talisman included over here. Then we'll see, as I said, Azure repos. We'll have service connection. This is the place where your Azure AD will be required. So this is the place. Before we jump to service connection, over here I'll be covering Azure Active Directory. So I'll be following which is what topic comes next. Okay, so before service connection we'll understand AD, because if I teach you AD now at the beginning and this service connection will come after 20 days, you'll not remember anything. So we'll understand just before service connection, we'll understand Azure Active Directory, then we'll come to service connection. So that is the flow we'll follow. Agent pool, how to set up self-hosted, cloud hosted, container hosted. This is the agent pool section which we'll understand. Then we got ARM. In configuration management, we'll understand Ansible, YAML basic. Then once we understand YAML basic, then we start building our pipelines. This is the first project where your pipeline will be built. Now the second project, third project, this is all your build happening. In this, many topics will be covered in between. SonarQube, Jacoco, many security topics will be covered in between, guys. Okay. Then we'll be releasing whatever we have built over here, whatever packages we have built. These packages will be eventually now deployed. Multi-stage deployment and all this eventually will be deploying. Okay. Then we'll understand what is Maven, what are the benefits of Maven over Gradle and Ant. Basic Maven commands. We'll see how a Java application gets built locally. Then I'll show you how exactly that gets built using a pipeline. We'll have code coverage. As I said, Jacoco is the topic. So this is something will be covered in between only. Okay, when we are creating a build pipeline, then at that time I'll be showing you what is Jacoco, how Jacoco is added and things like that. Same goes with SonarQube. We'll be setting up complete SonarQube from scratch. We'll be creating our own SonarQube project. We'll be creating our own custom quality gates. I'll be showing you Sonar Scan, Sonar Analytics, Sonar Break also, wherein breaking the pipeline when my quality gates are not met. All these topics will be covered. Azure Artifacts, this is where we'll show you how exactly a artifact, our own custom feed is created, how I can push my my project into the custom feed, how that custom feed will be integrated with my pipeline, how others can consume and all. That is what we'll see. Slack. Slack is the messaging tool we all know. Okay, so I'll be showing how we integrate Slack with Azure DevOps. The reason is straightforward. If you are working with a team, with a project, and if you want to send a build confirmation, build status to a messaging tool, not just Slack, Tribulo, there are many other tools. So if you know Slack, you can also integrate other tools also easily. So I'll show you how do we integrate and send a build and release status to a Slack channel. And there are Azure settings such as Azure permissions, Azure group, user and group management, retention, storage policies, many things. You'll get many questions, interview questions from this section, guys. Many interview questions. Okay. Then we'll have Terraform. We'll understand Terraform architecture, Terraform workflow, what is provider, creating Terraform configuration, what is state file, how to save a state file into a remote, many things. Then Docker, Kubernetes, guys, go through this. I hope I have shared this PDF with you guys. Go through it. If you have any questions, any doubt, please do let me know. And at the end, these are the live project, real-time project, which will be basically completing at the end. So attaching sidecar, service mesh, and all this will be attaching. So this is quite a big, as I said, this is quite a big session I'm talking about, 65 days, which will eventually turn up to be a 3 months course. So this is what we'll do. Tomorrow onwards, one thing I want, just make sure you sign in to Azure portal. I'll share a PPT with you guys which has the complete step. How do we sign into Azure DevOps, Azure Cloud, not Azure DevOps. Okay,
Yeah, I put a question down in the
Let me show you.
chat box. Yeah, please.
I don't know why my system is slow today. Even my system is feeling cold, it seems. Okay, guys, any questions? I'm almost done with my topic today. It's just introduction demo. What exactly will do. Setting up the tone for you guys. Okay, I think Ahmed has raised. Yeah, Ahmed, please unmute yourself and ask your question. No problem.
Yeah, I put a question down in the
Chat box.
chat box. Yeah, please.
Okay, I'll just go through it. Okay, you guys can put in the chat. I'll just go through the chat now. Just give me one quick minute. Okay. All this topic is going to be covered comprehensively or on the surface the time frame for the course. Okay. Very good question, Ahmed. So whichever topic, like whatever is required to be a good DevOps engineer, everything will be covered in depth. Now, as I said earlier, Linux, we are not opting out for a Linux administrative course, because if I opt out for a Linux administrative course, I need a 60+ days just for Linux. Just to explain you, if I want to prepare you for RHCE certification, that's Red Hat Certified Engineer certification, then it's a very big course. So we are not opting it for that. So whatever is required from Linux to be a better DevOps engineer, that will be covered. Same goes with other topics also. But making sure you have not just a surface, not the what is Linux and all, nothing as such. We'll be doing practical, we'll be logging into it, we'll be doing stuff in depth, not in depth, but we'll have a better understanding of that tool when you go and start working as a DevOps engineer. But yeah, if your target is to be a Linux administrator or Kubernetes administrator, then you have to go and understand those topics in depth. Like if you want to be a Kubernetes administrator, so what is the role of a
Yep, that
Kubernetes
sounds good. Yeah.
administrator? He has to
As per
completely
the
manage
projects
Kubernetes,
and the
from the
video, is it going to
installation,
be
from the
available?
creation, everything he has to manage. But does a DevOps engineer has to do that? No. DevOps engineer has to know how a deployment YAML gets created, how a service YAML gets created, how my application will be deployed. If my application fails, how do I debug the pods? How do I go and check the log? All this is the requirement what a DevOps engineer should know. So
For
all
how long?
this will cover in
For how
detail
long we're
with
gonna have
practical
access to
understanding.
the resources?
Okay, Ahmed, hopefully I have answered your question.
Yep, that sounds
Okay,
good.
that sounds good. Yeah.
As per the projects and the
So what about
developments.
the price
Yes,
for
it's
the
all be
course? I mean, the
available and
price for the
everything
course,
will be kept into my
the fee.
drive. Let me show you. This is how the drive will look like, and everything will be. So
Okay.
this is for my 17 September batch.
Okay, sounds good.
Now this batch is starting from 16, so you'll have a folder created for your name, and this is how
So
the videos will be added.
one more last
Each
question,
day
please.
topic will
Whoever's on
be
the line.
added,
So,
and the videos
what
will
will
be
the
created.
time be for the courses?
All the
How
people.
many days in a week? And time, please.
I'll say 1 year, but I have never deleted any videos till now.
Okay.
So no, don't worry, nothing will be deleted. I have. Sorry. Yeah, please,
Okay. Thank
as
you for
I
the
have
answers.
sent in the
Appreciate it. Thank you.
registration details, please fill in that and just my team will respond back to you. And I think you might have received an email. I've again said it. Okay, Vignesh, any? Yeah, sorry.
One last question, please. Whoever's on the line.
Yeah.
So, what will the time be for the courses? How many days in a week? And time.
5 days in a week, Monday to Friday, 8:45 a.m. Indian Standard. And if, in case anyone has timing issues, guys, don't worry. Everything is recorded, and everything will be shared across with everyone.
Okay, thank you for the answers. Appreciate it.
No problem. Vignesh has a question. Any prerequisite? Is it okay to start to learn Azure DevOps instead of open source DevOps? Very good question, Vignesh. For my course, there's no prerequisite. This course welcomes everyone having no knowledge in DevOps, because things are getting covered from very scratch. As I said earlier, taking an example of Git, I'm not directly jumping on Azure repos. I'll be covering Git first. So yeah, keeping that in mind, this is covered from very scratch. Now, you said whether to learn Azure DevOps and open source DevOps. It's totally up to you. Open source DevOps, there are so many tools in the market. Azure is Azure proprietary. If you go for any big companies, MNCs and all, they prefer going with such companies like Microsoft and AWS. The reason is very straightforward. They will have a SLA agreement signed with them. If anything goes down, they can catch them up. But yeah, startup and all, they prefer going with open source, trying. But even in open source, they have enterprise versions now. Okay. So as I said earlier, if you know one tool, you can easily jump and understand the other tool with no time. With your own efforts, you don't need to learn from someone. You know how Java Maven works in Azure DevOps. With some googling and seeing my YouTube or other YouTube channel, you can know how Jenkins works. Okay, that easy it is. But if your core concept is clear, that is the main funda. In DevOps, each month there are 2 or 3 new tools coming up in the market. It's very hard, not just for you all, it's for me to go and learn everything. Okay, so the core concept is clear. You can learn any tool if you want. Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Vignesh. Okay, Sanjay, do we need to install VM or do we need to Windows machine in case of VMware? Okay, Sanjay will that's what I was coming in. Will sign into free tier Azure Cloud. If you already have free tier, don't worry, switch yourself to pay as you go. Whatever VMs we'll be creating, that will be very minimalistic, and the charges at the end of the month, the charges will be very low. So that is the practice I'll keep always. Okay, so in Indian rupees, if I say, it will be hardly 100 to 200 Indian rupees. In dollars, if I say, it's around $2 to $3. So the only practice you have to do, select the minimalistic free tier. As soon as you're done with your practice, delete every resources. That is what I always say to people. So yeah, we will not go in installing Oracle VM, setting up Linux into it. No, because what will happen, many people will have only 8 GB of RAM on Windows and very minimum memory and things like that. So I don't want to hassle by installing such big tools. So no, we are not doing that. Okay. So let me cover this sign-in process. This is the PPT, guys. This is the signing process. Just go to the link. If you don't have a Microsoft email ID, no worries, guys. Just use your Gmail ID and just click on next. It will automatically create a Microsoft ID for you guys, and just put in. You come to this screen. Once you're logged in, you come to this screen. Till now your subscription is not created, so this is the place wherein you have to select free tier, free trial. Once you select this subscription, it will ask for your credit card information. Put in your credit card information. Make sure in India, if you guys are doing, make sure your international transaction is enabled on your credit card, or else it will not go through. Okay, in India it cuts 2 rupees initially, and 15,000 INR will be given as a free trial, which will be applicable for 1 month, and that is more than enough. After that, we can easily switch to pay as you go. Okay, outside India, guys, please check. I think it hardly takes $1. I'm not sure about that. Please check before applying. Okay, now this is how subscription will be created. This is how I'm creating a subscription. That's it. Once you're done with the subscription, you're good to go. I'll be sharing this PPT. Not a PPT, it's a Word document. I'll be sharing this Word document with you guys. Okay, now let me share right away in this chat. Where is the chat? I don't know why my system is slow. Okay, let me answer the question. Sanjay is done. After the training, can we take AZ400 and other certification? Yes, AZ400, there's a prerequisite for AZ400. Okay, yeah, AZ400 you can do, but you have to go through the white paper. Microsoft is a MCQ based certification what they do. So yeah, you'll have practical knowledge. For theoretical knowledge, just go through the Microsoft white paper. That is more than enough to give AZ400 exam. How important is scripting? Are you covering Bash or Python scripting? Scripting is very important, Vignesh. But in this we are covering YAML scripting, because YAML will be used everywhere, starting from your pipeline, starting from your Kubernetes, starting from your Ansible, everywhere YAML will be used. So yes, we are covering YAML. Yeah, I'm just sharing that. I'll be just sharing this documentation. How do I share? Okay, I cannot attach to it. Okay, any other question, guys? I'll be sharing, don't worry. I'm just seeing how if I can attach to this. I'm using this for the very first time. No, I don't think we have an option to attach. Okay, I'll share. I'll put the put the documents in my Git, and I'll be sharing the link with you guys.
Take care.
Any other question, guys? Okay, no question. Please fill in the form. And if you have any query, doubt, reach out to me on the WhatsApp or my email ID. I'll be responding to that. And post that. From tomorrow onwards, we'll start the first topic, that is virtual networking. The reason virtual networking, because eventually we have to create VMs on top of it. So tomorrow onwards we'll start virtual networking and everything. If you have any doubt, any query till now, then you can just reach out to me directly. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.